Mental health is a serious thing. Mental health is something that really can't be quantified or something that can't be taken lightly because you don't know what someone's going through mentally. But let me give you my true thoughts about this Ben Simmons situation. I was one of the people that were raving about Brooklyn trading for Ben Simmons. I was one of the people that said that they won the trade because you have a young player that is one of the best defenders in the league. And you're not asking him to be an offensive weapon. You're asking him to be a defender. You're asking him to maybe pass from time to time. And you're asking him to get rebounds. And it addresses a huge need for Brooklyn, which is defense. And I'm not a doctor, clearly. I'm not a doctor. And I'm also not the person to say someone is being genuine about something or not, because that's them. I can't talk about anyone's intent. I can't talk about anyone's genuineness or whatever the word is. But when I look at this Ben Simmons situation, this is what frustrates me. I don't believe. I mean, I can be on this island. It is what it is. I don't believe that Ben Simmons is dealing with mental health issues. I also don't believe Ben Simmons is dealing with a back issue. I just think he just doesn't want to play right now. Let me say this. I think he's mentally weak. But I do not think that's a mental health issue. I just think that you're mentally weak. We've seen some of the smartest people in the world. They could be mentally weak. It doesn't mean that they have mental health issues. I just think Ben Simmons is mentally weak, and you can put that under the umbrella of mental health. Why do I think Ben Simmons is struggling with or not struggling with mental health? Because if you go back to last time we saw Ben Simmons play, which was when he was in Philly playoffs against the Hawks, right under the basket. We know the play. Right under the basket. Trae Young's right there. Trae Young is what, 6'1". Ben Simmons is 6'10". The basket's right there. And you pass it off to Matisse Thybulle. I would understand if you pass it off to Joel Embiid. I would understand a little bit if you pass it off to, I don't know, Steph Curry or James Harden or Kevin Durant. I would understand if you pass it off to an offensive weapon like that, but you pass it off to Matisse Thybulle, who has never been an offensive weapon. He's known for his defense. You pass it off, because you were scared to get fouled. Because you're already struggling from the line mightily. You were scared to get fouled, so you pass it off. After that, Doc Rivers says some things. Joel Embiid says some things. You never play Philly again, and you say it's because you're not mentally fit to play. Again, I think there's a difference between being mentally weak and having mental health issues. Then you heard, out of nowhere, he gets traded to Brooklyn in the James Harden deal. Then you hear about a back injury. Let me remind you that the last time we saw Ben Simmons play, he was perfectly healthy, physically. Perfectly healthy. You get traded, then you hear about a back injury, which sits him out longer. I think you hear as a herniated disc, which I know people that have had herniated discs. Ben Simmons was doing things that I know for a fact that people that have herniated discs should not be able to do. Like run. Like dunk the ball. Like shoot the ball. Ben Simmons miraculously was able to do that. Then we get to the playoffs. So Ben Simmons doesn't play. We get to the playoffs. Now, I never thought that Ben Simmons was going to play. I never thought that. I never thought he was going to play in the playoffs. I didn't, and even if he did, I didn't think it was smart for him to play in the playoffs because the last time we saw him was in the playoffs, and he just wasn't good. And I said on this platform that the last thing you want to do is bring Ben Simmons back to a team that he has not played with, not 1 second, because practice is different from a game. You do not want to bring him back to a team that he has not played with, and the first game is in the playoffs against the best defensive team in the league in Boston. That is not what you want to do. I said that. So I didn't think he was going to play until reports came out that he was eyeing game 3, 4, 5, and 6 to play. Why did I believe those reports? And why do I think that Brooklyn believed those reports? One, Brooklyn was the one that released it. Two, Brooklyn, that's their player. So they understand what he's been dealing with mentally. The last thing that Brooklyn wants to do and is going to do is release information like that, knowing how the fans are going to react, knowing how the sports analysts and TV is going to react. They did not put that if they had a doubt in their mind that he was not going to be able to play games 4 and 5 and 6. So they had every indication, and they saw physically that he was ready to play. And if you can't play game 3, which is on a Saturday, why are you able to play game 4, which is on a Monday? That's neither here nor there. What I'm saying is the team would not release that information if they didn't think he was ready to play, at least physically. Then game 3 happens. Brooklyn loses. Brooklyn loses on Sunday. Report comes out, Ben Simmons is having back problems again. Or back tightness. So it's not questionable. They rule him out for Monday's game. Nevertheless, you can wake up Monday and feel perfect. But no. You have back issue. On Sunday, you don't feel good. So Monday, we out. And then Rich Paul, his agent, his team meets with the Brooklyn Nets team and say that he's not mentally ready to play. So it goes from a mental health issue to a back problem back to a mental health issue. Again, I never thought he was going to play in the playoffs to start with. But clearly somebody in the Nets organization. So, first of all, the Nets are not going to release that information if they didn't talk to the team trainer, if they didn't talk to Ben Simmons, if they didn't see Ben Simmons physically perform. They would not have released that he is targeting game. They wouldn't give it to Woj, which then would release that he is targeting games 4, 5, and 6 to come back. So they had every indication, and he was healthy enough to play, or at least they thought he was healthy enough to play. Then you lose game 3, and all of a sudden, I'm back. I'm out. Then once criticism starts falling on him again, his representatives go to the Brooklyn Nets representatives and say he's not mentally ready, so it's back to a mental health issue, which is why I think Ben Simmons is just mentally weak. I don't think it's a back problem. I don't think it's a mental health issue. I think that we're confusing mentally weak with mental health. Now, again, I don't know. This is just what I'm looking from the outside looking in. This just doesn't seem. It just doesn't. I don't know. On top of that, Ben Simmons is still, when he's playing, Ben Simmons is still a good player, but how do you. Even if Ben Simmons would have played, I don't think he would have been the savior for Brooklyn. I don't think that Brooklyn would have came back. But you give them a better fighting chance. So now, how are you Brooklyn and you look at him and think he's all in? Clearly, he ain't been all in since he passed off to Matisse Thybulle in Philly. He has not touched an NBA floor outside of looking good when they call timeout and he steps on to dap up the players. I'm not going to go as far. I do think that, Stephen A. Smith is very adamant, animated about how he feels and very adamant about how he feels about Ben Simmons. I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to disrespect his character. I'm not going to do all that. I will just talk about what I see. And what I see is I don't believe it's a back issue. I don't believe, because it's very hard to detect a back issue. I don't believe it's a back issue. Not to mention, did we ever find out how he hurt his back? The reason why I asked that question is because if you look, every single time somebody's got hurt, we pretty much know instantly that they're hurt and how they got hurt. John Wall, I think, slipped in his house. As embarrassing as that is, we found out, I believe he slipped in his house the second time he got hurt when he was in Washington. Out. We heard, I think the day of, almost minutes later, I think, when Klay Thompson got hurt the second time. Same thing with DeMarcus Cousins. We saw the footage of DeMarcus Cousins getting hurt. Almost every time a player gets hurt, we know how, we know where. Have we figured out and found out how Ben Simmons got hurt or his back? Because again, last time I saw Ben Simmons playing basketball, he was completely healthy. And people are saying, well, maybe, he slipped working out, or maybe he was training and it happened. Let me tell you something. These people are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. You think they're going to do something that jeopardizes them like that if they're smart? Why do you think LeBron James, why do you think Russell Wilson puts millions of dollars in their body a year? Because they know that their body is their moneymaker. Why do you think that people have chefs so they know what to put in their body? And for people that don't know, usually chefs go shopping for them, like shopping for food. So it ain't like he hurt his back lifting groceries. When the last time you think LeBron James carried some groceries up some steps? We can move it out of basketball. When's the last time you think Patrick Mahomes carried some groceries up some steps? They make so much money. They understand that could, hell, remember when Patrick Mahomes was playing basketball like every day? And the team was like, all right, man, you got to chill out, bro. Like, for real. There's a reason for that. So I don't know. Can somebody tell me where Ben Simmons hurt his back? And if they can prove that that's where he hurt his back, if there's a report saying he did, if you can show me when Ben Simmons hurt his back, I will come on this platform and apologize to this man. But until then, I do not believe he has a mental health issue. I do not believe he has a back issue. I believe he's mentally weak and just doesn't want to play right now.